musical, and like somebody was trying to make a hit show that would run for years and beat Wicked for the Tony, and that was the assignment, and we were hired for it. We probably never would have written, about a gay character, a monster who loves porn, a song about racism. It wouldn't have been Gary Coleman. It wouldn't have been as weird and quirky and unique, to just coming, just what we came up with. Would have been just a real plain boy meets girl, boy gets girl, boy loses girl. It would have been really boring, and it never would have worked. And I think that the reason this became what it did is because we were just kind of doing stuff that we liked and our friends were liking, and it wasn't for the goal of trying to create something that everybody would like. So just doing something that we liked and having fun with it, it became like bigger than we ever could have imagined. But it wouldn't have worked if we had tried to do that. You understand what I mean?
Yeah. Cool. Bravo. Thank you.
Well, in this BMI in this songwriting workshop, the first year they gave us assignments. Like they said, they took really tough things like Death of a Salesman, and they said, okay, for the spot where what's his name is about to kill himself, we're all going to write a song for that slot. And of course, nobody could do it well. But we all kind of, you'd try and you'd see like where people did things that surprised you and went, oh, that was neat, and where they failed. So we all learned to try really tough things and fail. So that was the first. And they gave us a Streetcar Named Desire. There were assignments. So the first year, and then second year they said, try writing an original musical, but don't come up with an original book. Base it on something, a poem, a children's story, a book that you love, a novel, whatever. So we thought, what kind of musical could we write that our straight friends would want to see? Because like people who love theater, we thought we'll go see anything that's a new theater piece. But people that don't like musicals, we thought, what could we write that they would want to see? So we thought a Muppet movie, and we based it on Hamlet. So we weren't allowed to come up with something original, so we based it on Hamlet. It was called Kermit, Prince of Denmark, and we wrote one song. Singing it, we thought, wouldn't it be neat to get an actual puppeteer to grab like a Toys R Us Kermit? So I knew somebody at Sesame Street who is like the person that grooms the puppets and hands them to Frank Oz. And so she introduced us to Rick Lyon. She said he'd be a guy that he does a great Kermit. And I called him and said, I'm a student in this workshop, and we wrote a Muppet movie, and you think maybe we could get a puppet, and would you mind, would you perform it for us? And he came in and he put on, he had a fake Kermit, which looked so real, and he put it on, and he disappeared, and Kermit came to life, and it was like having a celebrity. It was like having Frank. I always say it was like having Frank Sinatra in the room, because Kermit came to life, and you couldn't take your eyes off it. It just was so real, and he sang our song. It was like, oh my God, Kermit the Frog is in here. When we tried to sell this project to the Jim Henson Company, and they didn't buy it, and we thought, we spent a whole year writing something, and now it's dead. Why do we waste a whole year of our lives like this? We thought, all right, well, what can we spin this into? And we said, well, and believe me, we never thought, I never thought I was going to be a writer, and we never thought we'd have a show on Broadway, and that all these years later, it would have made this much money and been seen by this, millions of people all over the world. I've seen it in London and Sweden and Finland and Israel, and YouTube. You see them doing it in all these different languages, and it becomes a bigger thing than we ever dreamed up. But we just started on a legal pad with a pencil.
How was Lincoln, Nebraska?
Amazing. And you see all these people that I never met before, investing in it and singing our songs and bringing themselves to it and having a great time. And you sit back and you go, how did this happen? But it just happens with, page one and just starting and not knowing you can do it. Because if you're trying to do it, you'll write boy meets girl, boy loses girl, it'll be boring as hell. But you just start. And you know, if anybody has a you know, any kind of urge to start writing something, start.
Honestly, like, I was so happy.
It was great. It was great. I'm sorry I don't want to get in the way of your camera.
Absolutely fantastic. Thank you. You were hilarious. It was amazing. You were hilarious. Can I have your autograph? Yeah.
Oh, my cheeks hurt. Is it weird to like talk for 10 minutes? Like, yeah.